graders. My name is Kelly Ostrom, and I'm one of the directors. And I'm so happy to be here. This is the first year that we are actually coming in to talk to you guys as 7th graders and not just the 8th graders. So this is very exciting for us.
And good morning, my name is Heidi Kraft, and I'm also one of the directors. And same thing, we're excited to be here. So you know, as a 7th grader, what you need to do to be able to apply into a specialty center. So you are ready. You have the whole year to get ready. So we're excited to be able to talk to you today about what a specialty center is and about the process and what do you need to do, what do you need to learn.
So we're going to go over some basic information for you to know as a 7th grader, and then we will talk to you next year as an 8th grader with a little more detailed information about actually completing your application then.
You'll see on the screen, this is the list of all the specialty centers that are offered to you here in Henrico County. The top two, the Advanced Career Education Center at Hermitage and Highland Springs, they're called the ACE centers. And the ACE centers are ones that are more of, again, the CTE, Career Technical Education, where you get to learn some auto mechanic. There's broadcast actually at one of those. There are medical sciences that are applied into the CTE centers. Those two centers are usually only available to you in your last 2 years of high school. But we want you to be aware of what they are so you can explore that opportunity now as a 7th grader. And then the other list, so starting down at the Advanced College Academy all the way down to our brand new centers at the bottom, are the ones that are offered to you that you can enroll into starting your 9th grade year. So you apply as an 8th grader, you're accepted, and you begin your enrollment as a center student as a 9th grader. There are 2 brand new centers this year that we're accepting applications into, and that's the Center for Applied Health and Human Services that will be held at Hermitage High School, and then the Center for Environmental Science and Sustainability at Marina High School. So, what does it look like? Right now, all 8th grade students, and even you as a 7th grader could do this as well. There are information sessions that are held in a virtual format. They're found on the Henrico County Schools website, and we have had 2 already, November 4th and November 13th, which was yesterday. And then there's one next Wednesday for interested students. So you could join next week if you wanted to start exploring what those centers are and listening to center presentations. You can only attend 3 a night. So if you have 3 that you're really interested in, maybe you start looking into that right now for this year so you have an idea of how to guide yourself for next year. There are also lots of other ways to find out. One of the best ways is as a 7th grade student to get involved, starting to talk to your counselors, starting to talk to your teachers, to your parents about a center and maybe what your interests are. I know it's really difficult to think about now when you are 12 years old, what you're going to be doing when you graduate at 18. I know that's hard, but that's why we can start talking about this process to you now so you don't miss out. Again, lots of ways that you can find out information. I don't know if you're going to take the time to go dig in and read a brochure online, but you have people here who can talk to you about that.
But as Mrs. Kraft said, if you think you might be interested in a specialty center, you should log on to a virtual session next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Watch a video to get your curiosity to find out what you might be interested in, and then maybe pick 3 centers that you want to listen to the directors talk about.
There are ways that once you are an 8th grader, you can start shadowing, and you can attend one of those middle school or one of those high schools for either a part of the day or maybe even a full day. And you'll learn more about that as an 8th grader. So just know that that's a chance for you to be able to go to that high school and experience what it's like to be that high school student as an 8th grader for a day.
All right, so some benefits of participating in a specialty center. The first one is the specialty center is a school within a school. So it's a center of people that all have the same common interests, that are all going to the same high school together. You will be in classes with people that have your same interests. So right now you might be in a class and maybe you want to be a nurse when you grow up and nobody else in your classroom wants to be a nurse. Well, you would be in a specialty center with students who, there are a lot of students that want to be a nurse. You would be able to study subjects deeply. So you're going to learn a lot about what you're interested in. You're going to have different types of relationships with your teachers. Your center teachers, you will spend a lot of time with. You will spend time with them during the school day, and then you'll spend time with them outside of the school day, participating in other extracurricular activities. The work is hard in a specialty center, but it's worth it. You enjoy being in a specialty center, but you also work hard to balance that out.
If you're in the East End, how do I get to the West End? There is a bus that is provided for you. There is transportation that is provided for you. So if you decide that you would like to apply into Mrs. Ostrom's center, she's at Godwin High School. So there is a bus that would pick you up from your home and take you to a hub location, and then the hub bus takes you to Godwin High School. Same thing, I'm at Verina. If you are not zoned to be a Verina student, you would catch a bus at your house, go to the hub takes you to Verina. If you are zoned to be Verina, then you would just catch a bus and come to Verina. So the transportation is good, it is provided for you. You are not expected to drive, your parents are not expected to drive. The school buses take you where you need to go. The other thing is, as Mrs. Ostrom had mentioned, you do become a member of that high school. So if you decide that you want to go to Tucker High School and participate in the Advanced College Academy, then you become a Tucker Tiger. That means you participate in their extracurricular activities. You become part of their sports team if you want to play a sport. You become one of those students. You are no longer a student that's zoned for your school. You become a student where you are accepted and where you attend. And, as I said, you have all that happens. You become part of those extracurriculars as well. But you have to apply. So I know it's early. You may not be thinking about applications right now, but we need you to know that this process will be here sooner than what you realize.
Okay, so some facts about the application process. One is there's testing. So when you're in 8th grade, you will take a test in January, a 25-question, 45-minute long test on math, if you want to go to a specialty center that requires math. On reading or writing, if you have a specialty center that requires that. If you are interested in pursuing the Center for the Arts, then you would have to do an audition, which would be in February. And then if you would like to go to the Center for Global Citizenship, there is another part of an assessment that you would have to take there as well.
And that's what these deadlines up here are for. Again, this is for 8th graders, but this is typical. We usually open up the application process in November. There's specialized tests that are at the Center for the Arts and at the Spanish Language Center. Those are usually held in February as well. And then as a 7th grader, you're not going to have these tests, but as an 8th grader, you're going to take a writing test. As an 8th grader and you apply into the center, you will sit for a reading test and or a math test. So you need to look very carefully about which centers require what test. There are some centers that require both reading and writing and the essay. There are other centers that only require the math and the essay. So please be careful. Please look at that detail very carefully as you decide where it is that you might want to apply when you're in 8th grade.
Okay, so when you apply, so next year when you're ready to apply to a specialty center, there's different parts. There's an information sheet, basic information about yourself, what you do in your free time. There's essays, portfolios, and auditions that you might have to go through for that specific specialty center. Most of those are completed on Schoology. You might make a video about yourself and why you want to attend a center, and then you would upload it to Schoology. There are teacher recommendations. So in order to get into a specialty center, you have to find 2 teachers that are willing to recommend you. These are teachers that you get to know very well. It doesn't matter to us who those teachers are, as long as they have a good relationship with you and they're willing to write the recommendation for you. So be good to your teachers. And then lastly, your standardized test information, the test that you'll take next January will determine what centers you can go into. So when it turns out to be test day, you want to make sure you take your test really seriously. You only get one chance for that test.
And making sure, Mrs. Ostrom mentioned your teacher recommendations. Most of you were virtual last year, so as sixth graders, you didn't get to know your teachers really well. Seventh grade matters. Your grades right now really matter. Your relationships with your teachers really matter. We want you to get you to know your teachers. We want them to be able to be people who can serve as a person who can recommend you for our specialty center. The same thing matters in 8th grade. Your grades, you'll see that's part of what we're talking about here. Your middle school grades matter. So maybe last year you didn't do as great because you were just a little baby 6th grader. You didn't know any better. Then make sure that this year you do a lot better. Know that maybe last year was just a year that was really hard for you, but now that you're a 7th grader, you know what to do and you know how to get better grades. So you study and you make sure that you are talking to your teachers when you start to have a question in class or maybe you struggle. You're reaching out for assistance now and developing those relationships so they can serve as recommenders for you. And certainly your 8th grade grades also matter, but we don't see all of your 8th grade grades right away because it starts in November. So yes, we see a little bit of it, but 7th grade grades really matter. So what you're doing right now